Hello all of you wonderful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com. And you know what is absolutely brilliant about playing video games is the fact that at their core there's a relationship going on between the program itself and the player. A cycle of rewarding skill, patience, and sometimes putting in a lot of coins with stimulating sounds and feedback. It's that sense of winning, of achieving high scores, and of beating levels that drives us because essentially we're looking at the experience as a rewarding one. So what could make this even better? Well, by rewarding you for playing this rewarding experience. And with the rise of esports and competitions for video games, we're now entering into a period of gaming that has never been more lucrative. However, it's not about just bank balances being satiated with victories at a competitive level, as the entries on this list delve into the strange and somewhat silly with the prizes they doled out to players and event attendees. For example, one of our editors, Osley, won a mouse mat at a Rocket League event. Sounds normal, right? Except it was one mouse mat between a team of 4. Brilliant. So who better to voice this list than me, the champion of what culture and self-professed silly man, the Gilly man, Jules Gill. So come join me as we look at 8 of the strangest prizes ever won at video game events. Number 8. Used underwear. World of Tanks. No, you didn't mishear me. World of Tanks, in a Japanese tournament, did indeed dole out some used underwear to runners-up of a competition they held. However, these weren't just any stinky old underpants. These were the stinky underpants of Japanese porn star Mana Sakura, which she took off live on stage, autographed, and then presented to the runners-up of this tournament that was held at Esports Square. Now, the real question here isn't why, as after all, Japan and its porn stars have actually got a fairly lengthy history with video games. I won't bore you with that, and I'll let you do your own research, air quotes, research on that one. But the question is, did these competitors throw the match on purpose in order to get a bit closer to their dream of a World of Tanks, World of Wanks? Either way, I can't think of anything stranger than A, entering a World of Tanks tournament in the first place, and B, entering the aforementioned tournament only to be rewarded with a pair of undies on my exit. Also, it's worth remembering that Mana Sakura had to don a new pair of pants each time in order to take them off again for the losers. Either that or she wore about 20 pairs, and that's not going to be a second place that you really want, is it? Number 7. A literal ton of pennies. Blast Course 64. Blast Course 64 is such a brilliant game, an incredibly simple premise of the nuclear bus that couldn't slow down combined with property destruction. It will always get a smile from me, and the memories I have of sharing a couch with mates playing this game are very fond and very explosive ones. Plus, the assortment of vehicles that you can control is absolutely mind-blowing, seeing you take the wheel of massive trucks and even bipedal robots as you clear the path for the radioactive transport that's going to come careening through at any moment. Yet what makes this arcade brilliance even better was a competition that was run in Nintendo Power issue number 97 that gave readers the chance to not only win a copy of Blast Course 64 but also a literal ton of pennies. In the small print to the side of the competition, it states that this would have a value of $3,628.77, which is actually pretty impressive. Less so is the rest of the text, which states that they could send you a check for the amount instead of the actual pennies if they wanted. Boo! However, even though it would be a hassle having that much shrapnel to sift through, you might actually be able to try Scrooge McDuckin and have a dive in some cash, or at least build a literal money house. Either way, that's brilliant. Number 6. Gold Bars. Counter-Strike. Now, I know I said before that this was going to be about prizes that were more than just cash payouts, but when your prize purse sees the winning team get actual gold bars presented to them, I think that we can make an exception. Such was the case for the winning team Astralis, who managed to come out on top of the ESL Pro League Season 8, a tournament centered around Counter-Strike that saw teams from 5 different continents gather to shoot, shout, and swear their way through round after round of tense shooting. The prize pot alone for this was just over $1 million, making it not something that you'd sniff at, but the added bonus of a gold bar to add to the personal piggy bank must have been a pleasure to receive. Although one does have to wonder if this caused the team any issues travelling home as they went through airport security, as the response to "why do you have gold bars in your suitcase" probably being "well, I won them" might not seem that plausible. Number 5. Bill and Ted's actual phone booth. Bill and Ted NES. Be excellent to each other. It's a phrase that I honestly take to heart because of its simplistic beauty. And you know what? Why shouldn't we all try in our daily lives to better ourselves through helping others? In case you couldn't tell, I'm also a huge fan of Bill and Ted, and while I'm very anxious to see how this new film is going to turn out, the originals still hold up today as an example of goofy humour. However, I will tell you what a lot of people were not laughing at, and that was the Bill and Ted NES game, which was absolute garbage. Honestly, if you ever had the displeasure to play this, then I truly feel sorry for you. The controls were awful, the strange time-space dialer destiny screen with you floating through space choosing numbers to dial was painful, and you can't even walk on grass. Oh me, oh my, I tell you, this was less wild stallions running free and more an absolute mare. Yes, ignoring this for a moment, Nintendo Power, once again proving themselves to be absolute powerhouses of competitions, offered avid gamers the chance to win a real-life, full-sized Bill and Ted phone booth. Not only would they come and install the set piece, but they would also pay for a full year's worth of calls. Talk about an amazing prize, and to be honest, I kind of wish that I'd won this myself, as it would have made calling your mum while she's at work all the better if somebody else was footing the sex hotline bill for the year. And yes, that is my one per list, albeit a little phoned in. Haha. Number 4. Infamous Condoms, Infamous Second Son. Now this is a truly bizarre entry because it details a company giving away free condoms to promote a video game more than once. The game in question was Infamous Second Son, and the promotion was run through the Italian section of GameStop as a pre-order bonus. The bundle came with a copy of the game, 2 cans of Red Bull, and a bunch of glow-in-the-dark rubbers. Understandably, this caused fans of the franchise to respond with a degree of puzzlement. Why are you giving away condoms with this game? What do helmet hats have to do with Infamous? Well, nothing as it turns out, but that didn't stop Sucker Punch from also doling out these glow-in-the-dark wang sheaths to the public at playable demo events. I guess the line of thinking, however backwards it might have been, was that the devs were making a comment on having kids turn out potentially as evil as this one, so preventing it with the condom? Or maybe they're trying to stop you from just having a second son? Either way, what a baffling bit of PR. Number 3. CLAYFIGHTER Pants, CLAYFIGHTER 63 1/3. Another entry centering around underwear, this time sadly not signed by anyone famous, but to be honest, that won't matter one jot, because have you seen how cool these look? Honestly, I would wear these in a heartbeat if there were anywhere buying these today. Alas and alack, you'd have to travel back in time to when CLAYFIGHTER 63 1/3 or CLAYFIGHTER Extreme was released in order to get your hands on these bits of finery, as these were part of an exclusive competition run by Interplay Entertainment to promote the games. Now, strangely enough, the grand prize of a copy of either game, a custom controller, a one-of-a-kind statue, and obviously the boxer shorts wasn't won by being the best at this very odd fighting game, but was in fact a bounty that could only be snagged by designing a website for the game itself. If you won the competition, then your website would also become the face of the product itself as well, meaning that yes, the developers were getting a lot out of you for effectively freelancing them a web front. Still, I've not been more keen to have gooey muck on my undershorts than this, and it's a real shame that I'll never be able to cradle my junk with this delightful cast of characters. Number 2. John D. Carmack's Ferrari, QUAKE. QUAKE is without a doubt one of the finest shooters ever to grace the industry. It moved with a speed and confidence that saw rounds whipped by in a frantic mayhem of blood and gore. Plus, thanks to players exploiting the rocket jump, gave us a game-changing moment for FPS arena games in general. With a fantastic array of weapons and teams still firing up this gem to this day for a heated showdown, QUAKE is pretty much the crystallization of the formula. Plus, if you ask Dennis Fong, aka Thresh, about the game, he'll likely tell you that the prizes given away at QUAKE's events were pretty brilliant as well. I say this because thanks to Fong's victory at the 1997 Red Annihilation event for QUAKE, he walked out not only as the winner of the competition, but also with the keys to John D. Carmack's Ferrari 328. Carmack was the co-founder of id Software and put his wheels on the line for anyone who could prove themselves to be the champion of the arena. Now the funny thing is that when you look at this event as a whole, this is a very cool prize to win, but at the same time, what exactly does a Ferrari have to do with QUAKE? Was it just Carmack looking to shift a dodgy motor so that he could upgrade and call it a business expense? Well, who can say, but Fong didn't give Carmack his car back, so must have been happy with the result. And number 1, a full arcade unit, Space Invaders. To round out this list, we're going to travel back to arguably where it all began, a massive competition held by Atari back in the 1980s which aimed to cash in on all the hype that was surrounding Space Invaders at the time. It drew an incredible crowd, over 10,000 people in fact, to watch this event live. It's now seen as the first esports event, and the grand prize was won by Rebecca Heinemann. But what was the actual prize in question? Well, aside from being the first person to be recognized as an esports champion, well, rather brilliantly and strangely considering it's a completely different game, Atari awarded Rebecca with a sit-down arcade unit for Missile Commander, a game of equal excellence that was also dominating the arcades at the time. This special unit was different from the ones in most venues, however, because it contained a raised screen and offered a more immersive experience. Heinemann herself has claimed on her personal Twitter that the unit was worth almost $3,000, so not a bad prize at all. Plus, she will always be able to say with confidence that her victory helped shape the esports community that we know today. And there we go, those were 8 of the strangest prizes ever won at video game events. I hope that you enjoyed that, my friends, and please let me know down below of any other examples that you have, because I might come back and do a commented edition further down the line. I hope that you have a fantastic day, whatever you are getting up to today, because you know what? We detailed a lot of people who won today, and you, my friend, yes, you listening, you are a bloody winner as well. Do not let anyone ever tell you any differently. You are allowed to be whoever you want to be. You are allowed to do whatever you want to do, as long as it does not infringe on the rights of other people. So do not take any backchat from anyone trying to put you down. No one has the right to do that. And you know why? It's because there is no better thing in life than being true to yourself. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me at RetroJ with a 0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice to check out my new board game channel that I'm starting up. And it would be great if you could support the channel, because I'm doing it off of my own back in my own free time. And as always, remember this: you have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.